Good evening. I wasn't being rude, but if you guys could see what I see on my phone, you would be happy. I would like to tell you the story about my wife, Anya Cook, and our miscarriages and what we endured. From the first moment I saw Anya's face, I knew she would be my wife. It only took a year for us to get married, and it wasn't long before Anya told me she was ready to have a baby. I already had a son from my previous marriage, and I wasn't ready to have any more kids. But the more we talked about it, the more excited I got. I still have a video on my phone where my wife is so excited that she was pregnant. But it was only a few weeks before we had a miscarriage. Then we had another miscarriage, and plenty more after that. Despite the heartbreak, we wasn't ready to stop trying. One thing I can say about my wife is she's a warrior. And if you knew who my wife Anya Cook was, personally, you would say the same. But everything she does is calculated. When all of this was happening, Anya took pregnancy tests every day. She took pictures. She took notes. She even tracked down the hormone levels. And yet every time we got pregnant, it ended in a miscarriage. Then we had a special baby. I named this baby Bunny because every morning I would go to work. There was a white bunny running around my front yard, and I didn't know where it came from. So I said, you know what, I'm going to give that baby that my wife is pregnant with a nickname. Bunny was special. She was a fighter, and she was such an active baby. When my wife was 16 weeks with Bunny, we went out to dinner to celebrate. And on our way back to our truck after dinner, Anya felt a drip run down her leg. She said, "Babe, did you throw water on me?" And I said, "No, I did not throw any water on you." She said, "I hope this is not what I think it is." I was saying the same. We ended up going to the emergency room, and we waited for 40 minutes while the amniotic fluid leaked down my wife's leg. And there was a little boy, who pointed at my wife and asked his mom, "Mom, what is going on with that lady?" And all his mom could say is, "Son, just mind your business." When we had to wait for the doctor, he said, "You're going to lose the baby." And we had to wait 12 to 24 hours before the baby could come out. And he said there's nothing he can do. Then he explained about the 15-week ban that had just gone into effect. I remember thinking, what about your oath? What about helping patients in need? Well, all he could do is apologize and explain that he could not lose his license or go to jail. So my wife didn't get the necessary care that she needed. He then sent us home, and Anya told me she was going to die when the baby died. She just had a bad feeling. Her body wasn't right, but I was in denial. I said, "We're going to get over this." But my wife is very smart. I sure wish I had a brain like my wife. She researched online how to get the amniotic fluid back up. But then it was too late. The next day, Anya asked me to take her to the hair salon. She had a friend that died without getting her hair done. And she didn't want to be a burden on her mother and having her mother deal with that. So I took my wife to the hair salon. And while I was sitting in the truck, she called me from the bathroom and said, "Babe, she's here." I ran into the bathroom and I saw Bunny hanging down from my wife. I told my wife, don't look, I will carry that burden for the rest of my life. Sorry. Anya was bleeding a lot. And I separated the baby from my wife, and then she really started bleeding. Then finally, an ambulance showed up and rushed Anya to the hospital. Anya lost nearly half the blood in her body that day on the bathroom floor. The doctor said the operation should take about an hour. It turned into 8 hours. At one point, the doctor asked me if I wanted to focus on saving my wife's life or saving my wife's uterus. And I said to myself, what kind of question is that? But I did choose the right answer, and it was save my wife's life and save my wife's uterus, because I knew it was very important for my wife to have a baby. Me and my wife are very private people. We didn't even want our family to know, because we didn't want to put the burden on them. We'd rather deal with it ourselves. But I realized the burden was too strong for me. So I called her mom, I called her dad, and I called her sisters. I then started to pray after a security officer told me, you need to go pray. I went into a trance for about an hour of praying. And after I got up, my wife's family and the whole hospital staff was standing behind me. And they all started praying with me. There's a huge difference between hearing about abortion laws and having to live with them. Before this, I can honestly say I never used to think about it too much. I just figured out that it was someone, if they want to do it, that was their choice, and it should be no one else's business. But when that 15-week ban came down, I felt like a lot of you here. I was confused and I was pissed off. And then they turned around and tell us 15 weeks wasn't enough. And now they implemented a 6-week ban. Today I ask myself, how can our government come into our homes and interfere with the choices that we make with our families? When Anya got out of surgery, the doctor said, I don't know what kind of prayers you did, but she's going to be okay. Talking about this, it's never easy, especially when the fact that I lost my daughter. She was the only baby to make it up to 16 weeks. She was the 17th baby out of all those miscarriages my wife had. We lost Bunny in 2022. And I want you guys to know that when I walked on this stage tonight, I didn't know how I was going to deliver this message to you. But I want to make it personal. And I didn't want you guys to think that this is script, because it's not. When I walked on the stage tonight, and look at my phone, there's 2 people in my life right now. That's my wife, Anya, and my 9-week-old daughter. Her nickname is still Bunny.
Yeah! Woo! Woo! God!